There are some things that we all need to stop doing ASAP. These things are hurting our growth and they're affecting our income. In today's video, I'm going to break all of these things down. By the way, this video is sponsored by Riverside, who have a suite of useful tools, which we should all be using in 2025, but more on them later. Okay, so the first mistake that we're making, and we're going to stop making immediately, is ignoring your ALV. Now, I know what you're thinking, Jade's at it again with the acronyms, but stick with me here. Your ALV stands for your audience lifetime value, and it's basically my way, and now our way, of assessing how long we have a relationship with our audience for. Now, when we talk about our audience lifetime value, we're considering things like how many people in our audience who follow or subscribe to our content are consistently watching our content, are visiting our social channels to see if we have new content. We're also looking at their following lifespan. Do they stay on our channel for a few years, or do they unsubscribe after a few days? The reason why I really want us to focus on this now is because we are coming out of this phase of social media where we have all been sucked into some form of trend at some point. And what that's meant is that a lot of us have been uploading content based on what's trending. And as a result, we've struggled to acquire an audience of people who are actually returning to our content or who are staying subscribed on our channel for a significant amount of time. We've kind of lost that ability to have a long lifespan with our audience. Now, if we make some tweaks to the way in which we consider our lifespan with our audience, the result could be that we end up with a far more engaged audience. Our audience size stays pretty healthy for a significant amount of time. And overall, we have a healthier social media presence. So what tweaks or tactics can we use to really increase our audience lifetime value? One thing you can do is to pay more attention to your OGs and actually to create a space for them. So your OGs are obviously the people who have supported your content for a really long time. And if you're one of my OGs, can you let me know in the comments? Can you just write like OG? It'll be the acronym. It'll be very telling if I don't get any comments like that. It will show you guys that this is definitely a mistake that I've clearly been making. You want to make space for your OGs, whether that's something as small as doing a call out like I just did, so that people who are your OGs can make themselves known and you can recognize and appreciate them. Or it might be something a bit deeper, like creating a broadcast channel that's just for your OGs, or a membership or a subscription or something like that. It's really up to you. On the topic of OGs, if you followed that previous tactic, you can also make a considered effort to ask your OGs for feedback. This is something that I do quite often in my private YouTube channel, which is just like it's a membership on my YouTube channel. If you click the join button below, you can find out more. I basically share a behind the scenes video every month, and I'll often ask those members for advice. If you have people in your audience who are OGs and they've been with you from the beginning, those people are some of the most valuable people in your community. Trust their recommendations, trust their advice, and try and seek it if you can. Another tactic you can try is to create content that has a long-term narrative. So let's say, for example, you're moving home and you're a lifestyle vlogger, so this type of content works for you. Really bring people along the journey for that. Show when you're looking for homes, provide them updates once a month, even if you know this whole process might take a year. It gives your audience, including your more new followers or subscribers, something to latch onto and something to continuously return to your content for. And last but not least, you can create multiple different touch points for your audience so that they have multiple opportunities to stay in touch with you. Touch points in this sense could be different social media channels, it can be an email list, just different ways for your audience to hear from you. So for example, if you follow my YouTube channel, but maybe you've not seen my YouTube videos for a while, maybe you still have my email list and you therefore get my emails every week, right? Just think about different ways that you can stay in touch. Right, so the next mistake that we're going to stop making, I'm calling this one all of your eggs in a basket. Does anyone remember in the early days of Love Island when that's like all anyone ever used to say? They used to be like, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. That's the inspo. I know I've always told you to build one social media channel at a time and to only consider starting a new social media channel when you feel like the one that you're on is running smoothly. I stick with that, guys. That's still very much my advice, but times are changing and my content must reflect the changes. It's now a lot easier to be across multiple platforms because, let's face it, a lot of the platforms are becoming very similar to each other, which means that it's a lot easier to repurpose content across multiple platforms now. For example, you can create an Instagram reel, which could also be uploaded as a TikTok and also be uploaded as a YouTube short, okay? This makes it a lot easier for people, even beginner creators, to actually start their career across multiple channels and not just one. And I would go so far as to say that actually this is now recommended. This is where the term all your eggs in one basket is coming from. We are now entering a space where it's actually safer to be on at least 2 social media channels versus just the one, because that means that you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket. There is a huge caveat here though. huge caveat. You still need to make sure that one channel is your core channel. So let's say, for example, you are starting your journey on YouTube and you're just focusing on YouTube right now. YouTube still needs to be your core channel. When you are creating shorts, for example, you need to be creating shorts for your YouTube audience and for the YouTube short format. You still want to be creating your content with the headspace of this is going to be a short. What I now recommend you do though is consider repurposing that short and sharing it on another channel too. For example, as a TikTok or as an Instagram reel. Now, there are some tools that you can get access to using Riverside, which is going to make the whole process of repurposing your content, whether you share long form videos on YouTube or maybe you have a blog, whatever it might be, it's going to make repurposing that content very, very easy, quick and efficient. Let's do a quick demo so that you're completely clear on how you can use these tools. So we've logged into my Riverside account. We're on my demo studio, which is just for you guys so that I don't go messing around with all my other videos. And the first tool that I'm going to show you is called Magic Clips. It will allow you to repurpose your longer form video content into shorter form content, which you can then share across multiple platforms. So let's click on this video. And here at the bottom, you can see the Magic Clips button. We're going to click Generate Clips. We're going to specify a few different elements. For example, I'm going to make these 30 to 60 seconds long. My speaker is already selected as auto. And you can even do this really cool thing where you can add keywords to help influence what clips you might get. So if you already know a few key points of the video that you're trying to cut down that you think will be amazing as a shorter form clip, you can actually add keywords here and that will help Riverside figure out which parts of the video to trim. So let's click Generate Clips. And just like that, you can see a bunch of different magic clips have been produced here. So let's click on one of these. So one of the first things we're going to want to do is actually zoom into the video to make sure it takes up the whole frame. As we can see here, we've got to look at where that video has stopped. Not the most flattering, but it's okay. So here we can see it's now taking up the whole screen. There are a few different cool things that you can do to this clip to really bring it to life. For example, if you click the music button, you can browse different music for you to include. Click this little plus icon and it will add it to your clip. As you can see below, it's now been added there. Also, you can see I've got some captions here. You can add these by clicking on the captions button, and here you can select the different caption style that you want and you can brand it to make it your own. So let's go with this one. I can change the style. So at the minute I've got like a background behind it so that you can see all the words, which I quite like. I can change the font, the size. For example, I can make it a lot bigger. I can even change how many lines appear on the screen for your captions at a time. And I really like this because I like to add as many lines as possible because I think it makes it easier for people to read. So you can see here that I've actually got multiple lines of my caption showing, and that's just a preference for me. You can also animate your captions, change it to uppercase, change the alignment, and even corner the ends. And anyone who knows me knows that I love a rounded corner on an asset. Don't know why. It's just something that I like. And this is the end result. I genuinely love it. Like how nice those captions look. And when you're done, you can click export and get it ready for you to share across multiple platforms. Another quick tool that I do want to show you because it is very useful when it comes to repurposing your content is your show notes. So let's click on your show notes here. And what this is essentially going to show you is a summary of the video. Now you can use this in so many different ways. For example, this section here is going to show you the key takeaways of your video. You can extract these key takeaways and repurpose them into a carousel for Instagram or for TikTok. You can also take these sound bites. They've basically taken key parts of your video and turned them into like a quote. You can take these and turn these into a TikTok video or a reel that has your quote on top of it. So if you have decided to no longer put all of your eggs in one basket and you're going to be diversifying your social media channels, you're going to want to check out Riverside. Head to the link in my description to get started and use code Jade Beason for 15% off when you're upgrading your Riverside plan. Okay, so the next mistake that you are potentially making, but it's okay because you're not going to make it anymore, is focusing on the wrong metrics. And this is a common mistake. And I'm pretty sure I just spoke about this potentially in another video. I don't know, all my videos are overlapping at the moment. Basically, to have a successful social media channel, you do want to be paying attention to your metrics. And these are basically the units of measurement that you're going to use to assess whether your content is performing well or not. Now, the most common metrics across a variety of social channels are your views, your engagements, and your audience size, right? What we often do is we create content on social media for a specific purpose, or we'll upload a video and be like, yeah, this is going to get loads of views. And then when we're reviewing the video, we review it with the wrong metric. So in this example, it would be like uploading a video that you think is going to get loads of views and then being upset because it didn't get loads of comments. But it wasn't supposed to get loads of comments. It was supposed to get loads of views. Do you see where I'm going with this? A great example of this is a conversation that I had with a creator recently whose content is getting a lot of views on Instagram, but her engagements aren't very high. So she might get 50,000 views on a reel, but only get like still a lot of people, get like 400 interactions on it, which is a lot of people, but the engagement isn't necessarily that high for that post. She could look at that and see that as a success or a failure, depending on what her goal is and therefore what metrics she should be using. If she's trying to get loads of views and therefore reach loads of people, her content is performing well because her views are high. If she's trying to get a lot of engagement and really connect with her audience, then there's room for improvement because her engagement isn't necessarily that high. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's important for us to be aware of what the goal is and therefore measure our content based on that goal, right? By the way, guys, I just filmed a video all about my Instagram strategy and the changes that I'm making because, oh my God, do I need a refresh? And I'm going to be uploading that soon. So if you've not subscribed already, you haven't turned your bell notifications on, now is the time. The next mistake that we are going to make, and I'm going to hold your hand when I say this because I might be calling you out, and just know it comes from a place of love. Learning without action. The reason why I said I might be calling you out here is because you're watching this video, which tells me you're definitely doing the learning part. I'm proud of you. It's a really big part of this, okay? The learning must still happen. You gotta do something about it though. We've got to be applying what we are learning, okay? It's not enough to watch a bunch of YouTube videos, to purchase someone's course. None of that is enough if we're not applying what we're learning. Now, I have spent a lot of time brainstorming the best way to get us all to apply what we're learning a lot better. And the reason for that is because it's a core objective of my membership at the minute, is to try and get more people to apply everything that they're learning. So because I spent loads of time brainstorming this subject, I have a few tactics to share with you. The first is to find an accountability group. Now, inside the collective, we've got an accountability community channel, and we do end of week check-ins so that people can comment where they're at with their goals and try and hold themselves accountable. And that's something that we're pushing. Think about creating something similar. If you're already in the collective, utilize that channel. If you're not and you have no plans to join, you can create your own accountability group with people who understand your goals and who are going to hold you accountable. The next tactic that I came up with are to-do lists. So something that we're going to be doing now and we're currently working on is we're creating to-do lists for every single masterclass, lesson, course inside the collective so that people can download it, have a clear list of everything they need to do as a result of that lesson they just watched, and tick it off as they go. You could do the same thing. When you are watching YouTube videos like this one, you can create your own checklist as you go through this video and work through every single element to make sure you've applied everything that you've learned, right? I love that one. That's one of my faves. The third and final idea that I came up with is a little bit harder for you guys to apply, but I'm going to tell you it anyway. It essentially involves restructuring a lot of the content that we have inside the membership so that it is actually structured into 6-month plans so that creators can pick a goal, like they want to grow on Instagram, grow on YouTube, grow their income, whatever, so that they can see the exact lessons and get a list of the exact tasks that they need to complete month by month in order for them to reach that goal. Now, this is a little bit harder if all of the content you're consuming is on YouTube, because whilst YouTube is free and that's amazing, the payoff that you get is that everything's a bit sporadic. It's not necessarily ordered in a certain way. If you do purchase a course or a program or a membership or whatever, what you should be looking for is ensuring that they present the content in some form of chronological order, because that's one of the biggest value points. So I guess the tip here is to explore paid programs if you're in that position. And if not, just remember and keep in mind that when you're consuming content on YouTube, it is sporadic. It isn't necessarily ordered. So just have your wits about you when it comes to how you're applying everything that you've learned. Last but certainly not least, now I'm calling myself out. I called you out. I'm calling me out. We're calling everybody out. This mistake is people pleasing. We got to stop doing it. I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm like a textbook people pleaser, like with everyone. Like I don't really care about pleasing everyone, but people pleasing when you're a content creator or a business owner who uses social media can manifest itself in different ways. I'm talking about everything from changing your entire strategy because one person in your community doesn't like your content anymore, all the way through to never checking your comments under your content because you're scared of a negative response. Like it's a wide variety of things that I'm covering here. There's a few points I want to get across here. The first, and this is more of a question, can you think of a single happy person that you've ever met who leaves rude comments on people's content online? Because I can't. I don't know if I've ever met someone in the flesh who actually does this. I sometimes think these people aren't even real. People who are leaving like rude bullying comments on your content aren't happy. And that's actually quite sad when you think about it. They're really unhappy and they really want you to feel some of that sadness. Like misery loves company. That is what's happening. You are in control of whether or not you allow that person to do that. If you allow that person to bring misery to your life and bring you down to their level, you control that. no one else, okay? Keep that in mind. The next thing I need to get across is whilst I agree with ignoring comments, so for example, I've once had a video go viral and get a lot of negative comments under it. It was on TikTok. I'm pretty sure it's still there. I don't think I deleted it. And once I noticed that the sentiment was changing and it was getting a bit negative, I just left it. I just ignored it and I was like, that doesn't exist to me anymore. And I, hand on heart, have never opened up that video ever since. It just doesn't exist to me anymore. I'm ignoring it now. I do agree with doing that. That is a great, useful coping mechanism. When I talk about hiding from your comments in this sense though, I'm talking about never checking any comment because you're scared of seeing that odd one negative one that's bound to pop up every now and again. Doing this will hurt your content because it will lead you to being less connected with your audience and therefore make it harder for you to create content that they like. We need to know what our audience are saying. We need to check in on our comments. And keep in mind that majority of them are going to be positive. We shouldn't be forced to ignore all these beautiful, amazing comments that your lovely audience are leaving you, all out of fear of seeing one bad one. It's not fair to the nice people. Do you know what I mean? The bottom line is that we need to accept that we can't make content that's going to please everyone. And if you are trying to make content that's going to please everyone, you will end up pleasing no one, okay? Be very targeted with who you're trying to speak to and be okay with the fact that that means that some people won't like your content. The obvious caveats here, which I don't feel like I need to make anymore. Tell me if I don't need to do these caveats anymore because I don't feel like I do. When I'm talking about this stuff, I'm not saying that this gives you permission to share offensive, abusive, heavily controversial content. Like, that isn't what I'm saying. I feel like you guys know that anyway, but you know, the internet's wild, so you do have to caveat some stuff sometimes. Okay, those are all the things that we are going to be leaving in the past and we will not be doing this year and beyond. Don't forget to check out Riverside via the link in my description and to use my code Jade Beason for 15% off when you upgrade your plan. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It's all about the top trends coming to the creator economy. So if you're a content creator, this is a video that you really, really must watch. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I cannot wait to see you in my next video.